Well, they left it until the last possible moment, but Republican and Democrat congressional leaders in America have struck a deal which should stave off what for many would have been a financial catastrophe. The new bill extends the US Treasury's ability to borrow until February and funds the government until mid-January. So for now, at least, the prospect of global financial chaos has been averted, and there's been an immediate spike in the markets. Well, Sarah Smith is in Congress in Washington now. Sarah, this has been a whole shenanigans. What do you make of it?
Well, Kathy, every superhero knows that with great power comes great responsibility. And admittedly, there aren't too many superheroes around here, but you would think the world's only superpower would live by the same rules. Not go around threatening global economic catastrophe just because a few radical right-wingers want to destroy the president's healthcare reforms. Well, today, finally, Congress has lived up to its responsibility. They've done a deal. They're going to try and get it passed through both the House of Representatives and the Senate by midnight tonight. The deal will reopen the government and fund it through to the 15th of January, raise the debt ceiling till the 7th of February, and the only tiny little change they've made to Obamacare is tightening up the rules that verify whether or not people applying for means-tested benefits are really eligible for them. At the last minute, it's a go. The Congress will vote to raise the debt limit and avert catastrophe. Washington drove the world economy to the edge of disaster, then took a step back today. In the Senate, the Democratic leader announced the deal, but he didn't exactly sound like a man who had just saved the nation.
Our country came to the brink of a disaster. But in the end, political adversaries set aside their differences and disagreements to prevent that disaster.
This is far less than many of us had hoped for, frankly, but it's far better than what some had sought.
By some, he means you, Ted Cruz, the Tea Party senator from Texas who set out to destroy Obamacare and failed. Today, he had to admit defeat.
The focus, in my view, should not be on the politics of Washington. The politics of Washington, at the end of the day, doesn't matter. What the focus should be is on making Washington, D.C. listen to the American people.
Today, Washington listened to the world, telling them default wasn't an option. Are you worried about how the US now looks to the rest of the world, that they're playing Russian roulette politically with the global economy here?
Not really, because we have always met our obligations in the past, and what they're seeing is democracy in action.
It is democracy in a mess when a small group of radical Republicans can push the largest economy in the world to the brink of default. Who's to blame for the crisis?
Oh, I'm tired of that. You know, if you want to blame everybody. But the bottom line is, who's responsible to fix is what we should be asking. Who's going to be responsible enough to be an adult to fix it and say, listen, it's not perfect, but I'm going to vote for that. That's what I'm going to do today.
So, crisis averted today, but this isn't over. The debt limit has only been extended by 4 months. February could see the same fight all over again.
It's really a political weapon of mass destruction.
Business leaders want Congress to agree they will never use the debt ceiling as a weapon in future.
There are certain weapons that are just improper to use against humanity, and to use this against the American public it is a political weapon of mass destruction, and both sides should say we're not going to touch it.
But Ted Cruz, the Cruz missile, is not afraid of weapons of mass destruction.
In my view, the House of Representatives needs to keep doing what it's been doing, which is standing strong.
Today, he looks like the big loser, and his antics have deeply damaged his party. But he doesn't care. It's all part of his bid to become president in 2016. The current president won this round with his singular achievement, Obamacare, intact. But he's left in charge of a country that looks practically ungovernable, with another huge budget battle looming.